How's it going, guys? Today we're gonna be combining my two favorite desserts. Carrot cake, of course, is number one, and then coffee cake. I love the crumble on a coffee cake, and I just love carrots and cake combined. So today we're gonna be making a carrot coffee cake. Does it get better? I don't think so. So the first thing we're gonna do is you want one large carrot. We have two like smallish medium ones here. So I'm gonna grate these down first thing. Watch your fingers. All right, and then once you have your nub left over that you can't really grate, you just feed it to your puppy or your child. And that's how we save the planet and waste no food. You have your grated carrot. We're gonna set this aside real quick while we put together the batter. So the first thing we wanna do is melt down half a cup or 8 tablespoons, that's 1 full stick of butter into a large mixing bowl, microwave safe, of course. That right in. All right, so we got our butter all melted down. And to this, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of erythritol. We're using powder, but since we're baking it, you don't have to. You could totally use granular. And then we're also going to add the stevia. So we're doing half stevia and half erythritol. That's how we like to make our desserts. And we're gonna do 50 drops, which is about half a teaspoon. Give that a little whisk because the butter's really hot, so we don't wanna add the eggs right in. We don't wanna cook those eggs. And now we're gonna add 2 eggs. Okay, give that a quick whisk before we add in our flours. So as we've mentioned in other dessert recipes, the combination of almond flour and coconut flour is what achieves like the best, I would say, cake result, or like it's not too dry from the coconut flour and then it's not too like moist from the almond flour. So I highly recommend combining the two, which is what we're gonna do here. 2/3 cup of almond flour and just 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. You don't need a lot of coconut flour. Again, it's really an absorbent flour. And then we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. There's that coffee cake flavor, right? Let's give that a mix. And then finally, we gotta mix in these carrots. Add them right in. And you can fold or whisk these in. Oh man, look at that, that's beautiful. And then last but not least, you want a pinch of salt. That always brings out the flavors a little more. Quick whisk again. We're gonna set this aside and gonna make our crumble topping now. So for our crumble topping, we're gonna start with a base of 4 tablespoons of butter. So this is cold butter. I'm gonna melt it slightly in the microwave. You don't want it too melted. So we're gonna just melt it down a little. I'll show you what it's gonna look like. You could tell the majority of it is melted, but it's not fully melted down. I did it in bursts of like 7 to 10 seconds. So to this bowl, we're gonna add half a cup of almond flour, 1 tablespoon of coconut flour. We're gonna add 3 tablespoons of erythritol, 30 drops of stevia, so a little over 1/4 teaspoon, and then another teaspoon of cinnamon. I love cinnamon. And all you gotta do is mix this with a spoon. All right, guys, so we have our batter made and we have the topping made. So we're gonna set those aside real quick and I'm gonna show you what I did with our cake pan. So this is an 8-inch cake pan and I just cut out a piece of parchment paper to fit the size of it. So what I did was put the parchment paper down and I traced the outside, and then I also left 2 little slips so it could be easily pulled out. But what I like to do is still grease it up with some coconut oil spray so we're getting all the sides. And this will help the parchment paper stick better. There you go. So now all that's left to do is get our batter in. We also have the oven preheated to 350, so you're gonna wanna do that right now if you haven't already. So as this batter was sitting, it did thicken up slightly. So that's that coconut flour. And we are just gonna spread it out. So now all we gotta do is top this with our crumble. So our crumble is pretty thick here, as you can see. So I'm actually just gonna use my hands and I'm gonna plop it on so it's not too like perfect or pretty or spread out, because I get a little like inconsistency with my coffee cakes. Once everything's combined and baked, you can't really go wrong, right? I feel like you, Matt, probably had a lot of coffee cake growing up with like your grandma and coffee parties. So Matt does coffee parties still till this day. It's super cute. His grandma lives across the street from his mom. So every morning they have coffee together, and they did that all throughout like middle school and high school, right? I think they're really pushing for us to come and move right next door as well. Okay, that looks good to me. All we're gonna do is pop this in our 350-degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes. I'm gonna check on it about 25 minutes. The crumble could potentially burn a little. Our oven runs really hot, so gauge the timing based on your oven. All right, guys, we are back with our carrot cake coffee cake, so carrot coffee cake. It was in the oven for a total of 25 minutes. So I think it looks beautiful, like a nice marbled cake, but I'm excited to try it as well. So let's pull it out. And it is super moist, so be careful. Oh man, oh man. There we go. So let's slice up a piece. Super moist. You can see like the little bits of orange, which looks beautiful. I'm excited to try it and see what it tastes like. I'm gonna go right in for a big bite. Oh yeah. Oh man, that is amazing. So it's obviously a nice strong cinnamon flavor because we have cinnamon in both layers, but then the carrot cake comes through. You're like, oh, am I eating a carrot cake or am I eating a coffee cake? And like the ratio of almond flour to coconut flour made it super moist. If you put this in the refrigerator, which is where you're gonna wanna store it, a Ziploc bag should be fine, or even a glass container. It's gonna stay moist if you reheat it in the microwave. I would top this with some butter, put it alongside a nice cup of coffee, maybe your bulletproof coffee, and you have the perfect morning breakfast. So make this at home, guys. This is our carrot coffee cake. Linked below in the description will be the blog post exactly on how to make this. And we hope that you love this as much as I do. So let us know if you make it, tag us on Instagram, leave us a comment on the blog post. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.